At last Bhishma, knowing that his time had come, let out a deep breath and allowed himself to fall. However, he did not hit the ground. The battle of Kurukshetra, the great war of the Mahabharata, was in its 10th day when one of the most significant moments of the epic unfolded. The fall of Bhishma, the grand patriarch of the Kuru dynasty. Bhishma, the son of King Shantanu and the river goddess Ganga, was one of the greatest warriors of his time. He had taken a terrible vow of celibacy and loyalty to the throne of Hastinapura, which made him an immortal symbol of sacrifice and duty. However, his loyalty to the Kauravas, especially Duryodhana, set him on the opposite side of dharma, leading him to face the Pandavas on the battlefield. For 9 days, Bhishma led the Kaurava army with unmatched skill and valor. He was virtually invincible, slaying thousands of warriors and causing devastation to the Pandava forces. Despite his age, his might and mastery of weapons made him nearly unbeatable. However, Bhishma had one vulnerability: his respect for dharma, which bound him by certain rules of engagement. He had vowed that he would not raise his weapons against a woman or anyone who had been born as a woman. On the 10th day of the war, after witnessing the massacre of his soldiers and realizing that Bhishma could not be defeated by conventional means, the Pandavas sought Krishna's advice. Krishna, the Pandavas' divine guide and Arjuna's charioteer, knew that Bhishma could only be brought down by a warrior who was born a woman. It was then that he advised the Pandavas to send Shikhandi, the warrior born as Amba in a previous life, to confront Bhishma. Shikhandi, who had been wronged by Bhishma in a previous birth, was reincarnated to fulfill her destiny of defeating him. With Krishna's plan in place, Arjuna, Bhishma's most beloved disciple, agreed to use Shikhandi as a shield. As the battle began that morning, Shikhandi rode at the front of the Pandava forces, while Arjuna followed closely behind, ready to strike. Bhishma saw Shikhandi coming toward him, but true to his word, refused to fight. He recognized Shikhandi as Amba reborn, a woman by birth, and lowered his weapons in respect to his vow of not fighting against women. Taking advantage of this, Arjuna, standing behind Shikhandi, launched a fierce attack on Bhishma. Arjuna's arrows rained down upon the mighty warrior, piercing his armor and body. Despite being struck by numerous arrows, Bhishma did not waver. His majestic form stood tall on the battlefield, even as arrows riddled his body. Arjuna, torn between his duty as a warrior and his love and respect for Bhishma, continued to shoot, with each arrow finding its mark. At last Bhishma, knowing that his time had come, let out a deep breath and allowed himself to fall. However, he did not hit the ground. Arjuna's arrows, embedded in his body, created a bed of arrows holding Bhishma aloft above the earth. Bhishma, mortally wounded but still conscious, lay on this bed of arrows, his body bleeding, yet his mind peaceful and composed. Even in his last moments, Bhishma had control over his fate. He possessed the boon of Ichamrityu, the ability to choose the moment of his death, granted by his father, Shantanu. Bhishma chose not to die immediately, but to wait until the auspicious time of Uttarayana, the northern solstice, when the sun moves into the northern hemisphere. He wanted to ensure that his death would occur under favorable conditions for his soul's journey to the afterlife. As he lay on his bed of arrows, surrounded by both the Pandavas and Kauravas, Bhishma imparted his final teachings on dharma and governance to Yudhishthira, the eldest Pandava. His wisdom, even in the face of death, was revered by all, and his fall marked the turning point in the war. Bhishma's last battle stands as a testament to his unyielding adherence to dharma, even when it led to his defeat. His fall was not just the fall of a warrior, but the collapse of an era, one of valor, sacrifice, and duty. His death signified the beginning of the end for the Kauravas and paved the way for the triumph of righteousness.